Hello there my lovely teacher friends, welcome back to my channel Epic English Tutorials, and here I am to help you with a very important topic, that is convergent and divergent thinking. Many of you have requested me to upload more videos to help you for your pedagogy exam, which is in the first week of April. So here I am with a very interesting topic, and we got plenty of questions about this topic based on convergent and divergent thinking. But because both the topics are so confusing, so I decided to upload a separate video about divergent thinking today, and tomorrow I'll be uploading a video about convergent thinking, so that you are very clear headed about both the concepts categorically. And then we'll have a video where we can do a comparative analysis of convergent thinking versus divergent thinking. So what are we waiting for? Let's start our video. Stick around with me. I'll shift to my computer screen. I'll be explaining you a lot what divergent thinking is, what's the definition of divergent thinking, how does a divergent thinker think, and what are the strategies for developing divergent thinking. And in the end, I'm definitely going to share the question which I got in the October exam of 2019. So let's begin. So let's start our video about a very important topic. We got plenty of questions based on divergent thinking as well as convergent thinking, but because both the topics are so complicated and you might get them mixed up in your mind, so I've decided that today I'll be focusing only on divergent thinking, so that you have a good enough idea what divergent thinking is all about, and tomorrow I'll be uploading a separate video about convergent thinking. So stick around with me till the end, because I'm going to throw some light on what is divergent thinking, what are the sample questions for divergent thinking, and then I'll be sharing a question which came in our exam in October for TLS pedagogy in 2019. But before we proceed, just a humble request, please subscribe to my channel, share it in your circle of friends, and even after the pedagogy exam is over, I have plenty of stuff uploaded for your subjects, for your language proficiency test, that is IELTS exam. There are very helpful videos about IELTS vocabulary. It can also improve your communication skills, and there are videos about IELTS writing and IELTS reading. Do check them out in your spare time. So let's review what divergent thinking is all about. What's the definition? How do you define it? It's a thought process or a method which is used to generate creative ideas. Remember this, tag these words in your memory, that it generates creative ideas. It explores many possible solutions. You don't stick to one lame answer. Instead, you explore many possible solutions. Divergent thinking typically occurs in a spontaneous, free-flowing, non-linear manner, so that many ideas are generated in an emergent cognitive fashion. I'll give you an example. For example, if I ask you, when did World War I start? There is one lame answer. It started in the year so and so. If I ask you, when did the Second World War end? It has one specific answer. It ended in so and so year. But if I ask you that, imagine in the play Hamlet, Hamlet's mother did not marry his uncle right after the funeral of his father. Or imagine the ghost of Hamlet's father did not appear and tell him about his murder. What would have been the scenario? Then one student might give an idea that, oh, then Hamlet would have ever come to know that his father did not die a natural death, but it was a murder. And another student might give you an idea that this situation wouldn't have been so much tragic. Hamlet wouldn't have been an angry man at all. Another student might tell you that Hamlet might have accepted his mother's marriage with his uncle. Another student might say that Hamlet's relationship with Ophelia might not have spoiled had he not come to know about the murder of his father. Another student might have said that it wouldn't have been a tragic play at all. So you see, there are plenty of ideas. If you see the definition, it generates creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. You are exploring many possibilities, and each one sounds right. There is no right or wrong option. Each one can be accepted as a right answer, because this is an open-ended question. So this is what divergent thinking is all about. It welcomes free-flowing ideas. It doesn't have a linear approach. It has a non-linear approach. You go in different directions. You don't go straight in one direction. You go in different directions. You diverge Divergent thinking comes from the word diverge. Tag this picture in your mind so that you can remember this example of Hamlet I gave you. Another definition can be many possible solutions are explored in a short amount of time, as I gave you this example of Hamlet, and unexpected connections are drawn. Now we are drawing unexpected conclusions here. After the process of divergent thinking has been completed, you can single out the best possible answer. Ideas, information are organized and structured using convergent thinking. Then you can converge to one point that okay, this can be the best possible answers. So this is how you go about divergent thinking. So keep this picture in your mind, tag this picture in your mind, that divergent thinking means you are diverging ideas in all possible scenarios and directions. That's why it's called divergent thinking. It's not a linear thinking where you think in a plain, straight, lame manner. For example, if I ask you when did World War I start, it has one specific answer. It started in the year so and so. When did COVID-19 start? It started in 2019. Where did it start from? It started from China, Wuhan. So you are having one specific answer, that is convergent thinking. What if I ask you that in the play Hamlet, imagine that the ghost of Hamlet's father did not appear. He did not warn him about his murder by his brother. What would have been the scenario? Then all the students will give you plenty of idea that it might not have been a tragic play. Hamlet's relation with Ophelia wouldn't have been spoiled. Hamlet's relation with his mother and uncle wouldn't have been spoiled. So this is what divergent thinking is all about. If you see this picture, tag it in your mind that divergent thinking includes the following traits and characteristics. It's fluent thinking. You have a flow of ideas, generation of lots of ideas, as I gave you the example of Hamlet. Thinking of the most possible ideas, what are the best possible solutions. For example, if you tell your student, what if you are the member of Emirates Environment Agency and you have to think for sustainable solutions in 2021. What can be the best three possible sustainable solutions to save the environment? So many students will say we can do this, we can have a cleanliness campaign, we can have reduce, reuse, recycle campaign. Many of students will give you plenty of ideas. So this is what called possibility of ideas. It's flexible thinking. You don't say that no, saving the environment has only one solution. It has flexible thinking. For example, if I ask you a question, when did World War II start? It has one answer. It doesn't have flexible thinking because it really started in a particular year on a particular date. So in this case, there is flexible thinking in divergent thinking. There is originality of ideas. Original thinking is involved. It differs from what has gone before. You explore new ideas. As I gave you the example of Hamlet, it has not happened actually. Hamlet's father's ghost actually appeared in the play. But what if it did not appear? What would have been the scenario? So it has not happened before. Similarly, if I tell you, what if there was no COVID-19? What would the world have been in 2021? What would the world have been in 2020? So this has not gone before, but you are giving them a what if situation, a what if scenario where they think of plenty of situations. Similarly, it involves elaborative thinking and it embellishes on the previous ideas, plans, but uses prior knowledge to expand and add upon things and ideas. If you look at this picture, you can just remember it when you get a question that there are lots of ways to interpret a divergent question. There are multiple options available, not one. You can see a lot of possible answers to a question when divergent thinking is there, because you diverge in all the directions. As I gave you an example of Emirates Environment Agency. Imagine that you are the in charge and you have to think for the solution. So you can have plenty of solutions and then you can single out the best option. So there is not one lame answer as it's there in convergent thinking. For example, when did World War II end? It ended in this year. It has only one possible answer, which is true. But in this case, it has plenty of flexible ideas, plenty of flexible options which can be considered upon, and you can decide that what is the best possible solution later on. Similarly, there are strategies to stimulate divergent thinking. You can reverse the question, you can reverse the scenario, as I told you about Hamlet's example. You encourage play and handle failure. You can experiment on ideas. Never mind if you fail, you can succeed later on. It's an inquiry-based feedback and it involves a lot of collaboration.
You celebrate the differences of opinions and ideas. For example, when I tell you, what if Hamlet's father did not die in the beginning of the play? What if Hamlet's father did not was not murdered by his brother? What would have been the scenario? Different students will give different ideas, and all can be accepted to imagine what would have been the scenario. Or you tell your student, imagine there was no world war. What would have been the scenario? Everybody will give a different solution, different answer, and all are acceptable. If you look at this, tag this picture in your mind that what is divergent thinking all about? Divergent thinking has free flow of ideas. There is no plain linear thinking. There are multiple ideas. All ideas generate from different perspectives. They diverge in different directions according to your mindset. And there are unexpected connections, as I told you in the example, that imagine you are in charge of Emirates Environment Agency, and how would you reach three possible solutions to have a sustainable solution for the pollution. So you can have unexpected connection. One student will say do this, another student will say do that, third will say that. There are unexpected connections. Maybe you all reach one single answer that yes, we can work on the 3 R's: reduce, reuse and recycle, and then further we can take this to sustainability and blah blah blah. So this is what divergent thinking is all about. You can see there is free flow of ideas. It's not plain linear thinking at all. So how does a divergent thinker differ from a convergent thinker? Look at this picture, tag this in your memory for your exam. A divergent thinker thinks of all the possible ways to reach a final solution. First, he is going to think in all directions, all possible solutions and scenarios to reach a final conclusion. I gave you an example of Emirates Environment Agency. Or if I tell you, what if there were no two world wars in the world? What would have been the world like? So you have plenty of options to think of, and then you can single out the best possible answer. So this is what divergent thinking is all about. A convergent thinker thinks directly for a final one solution, omitting all the other possibilities. So it's linear. For example, if I tell you, when did the First World War end? It ended in the year so and so. When did the Second World War end? It ended the year so and so. When did Hitler die? He died in the year so and so. So this is what convergent thinking is all about, whereas divergent thinking is totally the opposite of all. If you look at this slide, divergent thinking questions, what do they look like? They signal words such as imagine or predict or if or then or might, or what are some of the possible consequences. For example, if I say, had there been no COVID-19, what would have been the possible consequences? The world scenario would have been different. It wouldn't have been so chaotic as it is now. So you generate a lot of imagination, a lot of prediction is involved, and there are cognitive operations going on in your mind because you think of something that has not happened at all. What if there were no two world wars in the world? So you predict, you hypothesize that okay, if there was no World War I, no World War II, the world wouldn't have been so much chaotic as it was after the world wars. What if there was no bombing in Hiroshima? So there wouldn't have been nuclear attack, there wouldn't have been so much of disaster. So this is how it involves cognitive operations, because you think of situations which haven't happened or occurred before. If you look at the rules for effective divergent thinking and the rules for convergent critical thinking, it will be very clear in your mind. In divergent thinking, you don't judge the ideas. All ideas seem to be right. I gave you an example of the play Hamlet, that imagine that Hamlet did not come to know about the murder of his father. Imagine that the ghost of Hamlet's father never appeared and never told him that he was murdered. No, he did not die a natural death. So many students will say that yes, it wouldn't have been a tragic play at all. Hamlet wouldn't have been so furious. He might have accepted his mother's marriage with his uncle. It would have had a happy ending. So you're not judging ideas. Every idea that a student is giving seems to be right. So you're looking for so many options and you're accepting all of them. All of them seem to be right. So make yourself stretch for ideas. This is what happens. You stretch for new ideas, you explore ideas, you take time to let ideas simmer, and you hitchhike on other ideas. As I gave you an example, imagine there was no COVID-19. What would the world have been like in 2020? So there are so many options. You can look for each one of them and everyone would seem right. But here you are very deliberate, you are very explicit and clear about your point. You avoid going to the next step too soon. You don't avoid tough issues at all. You develop a very affirmative judgment. You don't lose sight of your goals, and you consider novelty. For example, there is the remember this example: when did World War start? It started in so and so year. When did COVID-19 where did COVID-19 start from? It started from Wuhan, China. So it has one plain answer. You are very clear about it, you are very explicit about it, you are very deliberate about it. There are no two answers. So divergent thinking is the opposite of convergent thinking. If you look at this, the best way to have good ideas is to have lots of ideas. This is what divergent thinking is all about. And then throw the bad ones away and choose the best possible answer. Single out the best possible answer. So how do we create divergent question? There is a sample. This situation is data poor. When you create divergent thinking based questions, this situation is data poor because no previous data is available, because it didn't actually happen. Students cannot look it up in their book. No answer is available, but they can absolutely answer it because it's going to take some nice and productive juicy thinking. For example, I gave you an example that imagine what if there was no COVID-19 in the world, what would have been the scenario, right? So you are thinking about a situation which has actually not happened, but you can predict, you can explore and generate ideas and reach to a single conclusion. Similarly, what are the question types which emerge from divergent thinking? They are the what ifs question. What if Hamlet's father did not die? What if Hamlet did not turn out to be an angry man? What if Hamlet did not murder his uncle? So there are whats and ifs involved. You let your students imagine a lot of scenarios which haven't occurred before. Divergent questions are based around hypotheticals, situations. What if X happened instead? What would that lead to? Suppose Z were in charge, how would that change things? What would happen if we switched A and B? So these are some question types which you can look at. You can pause the video and look at these question types. So our divergent thinking, in divergent thinking is our focus. So what happens? It's perfect for going beyond memorization to true thinking. Remember my example that you explore ideas, you generate ideas. That Hamlet is a tragic play where his father died of being poisoned in the ear by his brother. But you told the students that imagine what if Hamlet did not see the ghost of his father, he never came to know about the murder of his father. Now you are having true thinking involved. Students will give you plenty of ideas that he wouldn't have been an angry man. He might have accepted the marriage of his mother with his uncle. He wouldn't have spoiled his relationship with Ophelia. So there are so many true thinking ideas involved and all seem to be correct. So the convergent questions with one right answer, everyone gets to the same place. You see, I told you, when did World War start? It started in the year so and so. When did the Second World War end? It ended in the year so and so, right? So you can speak about a particular answer with one right answer, a question with one specific answer. But in divergent questions, without a clear right answer, everyone goes in different directions and all directions seem to be perfectly fine, perfectly true. Look at this example. Write your views on the topic, or dash plus dash is equal to 5. So one of the students might say 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. Another student might say 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So 2.5 and 2.5 is equal to 5. So there are plenty of ideas and all ideas seem to be right. So this is a divergent thinking based question. Similarly, there is flexibility in answers and it may get changed. As I gave you the example of Environment Agency, you have to think of possible solutions to reduce pollution in the world. Everybody will give pull in an idea and everybody's idea will be considered as right. There is no one plain answer that World War started in this year and ended in this year. It's opposite of the convergent thing. So now we've reached to a place where what you have all been waiting for. This is the question we got in the 2019 pedagogy exam in October. Let's have a look at it, and I'm sure after so much of explanation you must be clear-headed about it. The question is, divergent thinking is an important type of thinking that helps to develop students' creativity. To promote divergent thinking, it is recommended that teachers Option number 1, ask questions that could have several correct answers, or set the lesson objectives clearly and accurately, or ask questions that require precise, specific, clear answers and involve students in setting the objectives of the lesson. If you have the keywords in the question, have a look at this. Divergent thinking is an important type of thinking that helps develop students' creativity. So what do we do to promote creative thinking? What can the teachers do? Look at the last option. Involve students in setting the objectives of the lesson. Where is the creativity involved in setting the objective of the lesson? Because lesson objective designing is a teacher's job. It has more to do with the teacher and less to do with the student. So you can right away cross out this irrelevant option. There is no creativity of the student required here. It requires a lot of creativity from the teacher's side to devise and improvise and design activities to promote creativity of the students. But you cannot involve students in lesson planning all the time. Look at the second option, second last option. Ask questions that require precise, specific and clear answers. If you have one precise answer, that is not at all divergent thinking. For example, if I ask you, when did Michael Jackson die? He died in this year. What was his age when he died? He was 54 or 52 when he died. So there is one specific answer. You are asking questions that require precise, specific and clear answer. These are the questions I gave you the examples of. When did the World War I start? It started in this year. When did it end? It ended in this year. How many world wars have been there? There have been 2 world wars in the world. So these questions have precise, specific and clear answer. They go in the linear direction but not in the divergent direction. So this cannot generate creativity. You can cross out this option. Look at this option. Set the lesson objectives clearly and accurately. This is a teacher's job to set the lesson objectives clearly and accurately, not a student's job. Where are the students involved here? Not at all. This is not linked with students at all. So because the keyword says students creativity, there is no students creativity involved here. So this option seems to be wrong as well. But if you look at this option, ask questions that could have several correct answers. Ask yourself the question, are you making your students diverge in different directions? Yes or no? You are making them think east, west, north, south. They are looking for exploring all the directions to get the possible ideas. For example, if I say, imagine there was no COVID-19 in the world, what would the world have been like? They are thinking of different situations. There wouldn't have been a lockdown. The world wouldn't have been so chaotic. People wouldn't have been jobless. So the world would have been a happy place. So there are so many possibilities and options that a student can think in the flow of ideas and generate new ideas. Although this has never happened before, but you are asking questions which can have multiple correct answers. So in the comment section, let me know what's your answer. I'm not telling you what is correct. I just discussed all the options with you, and I'm sure after so much of explanation with the help of relevant pictures that I asked you to tag in your mind, with the example of Hamlet or the Emirates Environment Agency or the example of the World War, I hope you are able to figure out the right answer. This was our second last question that we got in the exam, and I hope you find it easy and the idea is very clear to you about divergent thinking. Write your answer and I'll comment you whether your answer is correct or not. But we got this question in the exam, and hopefully you will also get similar questions. So that was all from my side. I hope you liked my video. I put in a lot of effort to make this idea clear to all my teacher friends, to all the viewers all over the UAE. I wish you the very best of luck to ace your exam with flying colors. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button. If you like this video, please post some nice comments. They help a lot in encouraging me to make more videos, and tomorrow hopefully I'll be uploading a video about convergent thinking, and I'll also share a question which I got in the exam. Best of luck from my side. See you.